what is private assembly, what is shared assembly. So, right. How is voice now? Voice. How is the voice now?
It's okay.
No, no, like still disturbance is there. Okay. Now, coming to private assembly. Like listen here, we'll see half an hour more, still you are not that much happy, we'll stop the class for today. Okay. Uh,
Sir, don't stop. Keep continue.
okay, right. So here, actually background noises are not there. It is completely network disturbances. Okay, right. Generally, without your knowledge also, sometimes from one person, some noise will come. It's background disturbance will feel, but actually not background. Without the concerned person, without the person concerned, the voice will come through network. Private assembly. What is private assembly? You know, uh, yeah, an assembly. Very important topic it is, because reusable components. Nothing but tomorrow, if you want to develop three-tier architecture, that second layer, third layers are nothing but your assembly only. An assembly, an assembly which is providing services to services to an assembly which is providing services to single client application. Single client application is called as private assembly. Private assembly. An assembly which is providing services to single client application called as private assembly. Private assembly, private assembly, private assembly will provide the service to single application, and private assembly will create a local copy. Private assembly will create a local copy within the client, will create local copy within the client folder, client application folder, client application folder. That local copy, that local copy will, that local copy will provide the services to, services to concern application, concern client, client app. Means what is this? An assembly which is providing services to single client application is called as private assembly. Private assembly will create a local copy within the client application folder. That local copy will provide, that local copy will provide services to, that local copy will provide services to concern client app. Means what exactly it is, I am showing with small diagram. This time you would have one good pen board, even though let's see. Let us assume you are developed one private assembly. The private assembly name is hello.dll. The private assembly name is hello.dll. Hello.dll is a private assembly. Let us assume it is a private assembly. Private assembly. Private assembly. Okay. Now client 1 called C1, client 2, client 1 wants to consume, and it will add the reference. Whenever it will add the reference, I'm sure one local copy will create. That local copy will create in the client folder. I said hello.dll, local copy is created. Okay, hello.dll. Private assembly will create a local copy within the client application folder, that is this. C1, next C2, C2, another client. Okay, enough. Second client, again another local copy will create in this C2 folder, C2 client folder. That I'll show you practically also when we implemented programs now. Hello.dll. another local copy will create. This local copy will provide the services to C1. This local copy will provide the services to C2. So that is called a private assembly. An assembly which is providing services to single client application is called private assembly. Immediately here you will get a doubt. Sir, here this assembly is providing services to more than one application. You have a doubt. No. You consider this local copy is providing services to one application. At a time this is providing local copy is providing service to only one application. That is the concern we have to catch here. That's why it is called private assembly. And private assembly will create a local copy within the client application folder. Local copy. That local copy will provide the services to concerned client application. Right. Got it? Did you understand the concept here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That we'll see practically now. Next, come back to finally we observed one thing. Private assembly is creating multiple local copies for every client application. Come back to shared assembly. What is this shared assembly? An assembly which is providing services to multiple client applications. An assembly which is providing services to multiple client applications is called as an assembly which is providing services to multiple client applications is called as shared assembly. An assembly which is providing services to multiple client applications is called as shared assembly. Shared assembly. Okay, an assembly which is providing services to multiple client applications is called as shared assembly. Okay, but shared assembly will not create any local copy within client folder. Will not create any local copy within client folder. It will provide the services from GAC folder. So it will not create any local copy. Instead of that, it will provide services from GAC folder. Let's see what is it exactly. But one important point is an assembly which is providing services to multiple client applications is called a shared assembly. But shared assembly will not create any local copy within GAC folder, and it will provide services from GAC folder. Means shared assembly means it will be available in a common shared folder called GAC. What is GAC? GAC stands for Global Assembly Cache. GAC stands for Global Assembly Cache. GAC stands for Global Assembly Cache, which is residence for shared assemblies. Means whenever you want to make your assembly as a shared assembly, compulsory you should install into GAC folder. Now let me show this model. Of the shared assembly model. Right. Here you have a DLL, hello.dll, hello.dll. Hello.dll is a assembly, but shared assembly. That's the reason we are installed into a centralized common shared folder called GAC. We are installed into GAC. Okay, now let's say C1 client wants to consume. C1 client, next C2 client, next C3 client, C3 client, C1 client, C2 client, C3 client. So adding the reference, adding the reference, but no local copy is created, no local copy is created. For 3 client application, the services are providing from gap folder. That's why it is called as which assembly, guys? It's called as assembly. Have you observed difference in diagram? Hmm? Yeah. Now come back to
Yes.
yeah. Now that is the story about private assembly and shared assembly. Let's see implementation of assembly concept.